our motivational quote this morning is going to be from the great Zig Ziglar, who reminds us that anything we're doing is worth doing poorly until you can learn to do it well. Love that. I absolutely love that quote, guys, because oftentimes we are compelled to avoid doing something we know we won't be good at, right? We're embarrassed, we're scared, fear, right, will keep us from doing the things that we should be doing that will allow us to grow. No progress, no growth happens without stepping outside of your comfort zone and doing something that you are uncomfortable with and uncomfortable about. So we have to do what we do poorly before we can get good at it. Every expert was once a beginner, and there is no such thing as an overnight success. People become overnight success by being bad at it for a really long time. And if it's worth doing well, it is probably difficult to learn, uncomfortable in the beginning to do, will require an entirely new and different mindset to accomplish, and unless you are willing to screw it up, you will never learn to do it right. We cannot allow the fear of failure build in us a fear of success. We can't let our fear of discomfort prevent us from building a truly successful and abundant life. So anything worth doing is worth doing poorly until we learn to do it well. And just love the way Zig was always so able to capture a big concept in just a few words, and this one does a great job of that. Let's see what our affirmation is. We talk all the time in here about affirmations and the purpose behind them. Ladies and gentlemen, your mind is like a computer. If you program it to do something, it will continue to rely on that program to execute the tasks that you want it to accomplish. The problem is that most of us, unless you were raised in a wealthy household, were not programmed with wealthy thinking. We were programmed with a thought process that builds lack, that builds concern, that builds worry, that builds a lack of success. And unless you change the programming, you cannot expect the computer to do something that it wasn't programmed for. Unless you go in and change how you have your internal programming set, you will fall back on the default settings, which were programmed by your teachers, your preachers, your coaches, your parents, your grandparents, your aunts, your uncles. And while they were all, in all likelihood, well-meaning people, their teachings were based on what they were taught. And unless they were taught wealth mindset and success thinking, they programmed you with default settings that will prevent you from finding that success. We use affirmations in the Morning Lab every single day as a way to actively engage in reprogramming that subconscious mind. What you think about, you bring about. Now, when it comes to affirmations, there's another important part of that. What you bring or think about, you bring about, but what you speak about, your heart and feet follow. In other words, your conscious mind follows what your subconscious programming tells it to do. You simply cannot have a millionaire's bank account on a thousandaires mindset. That's just not going to happen. So we have to reprogram our mind, and the more emotional we create those affirmations, the more emotion we create in those affirmations, the more success we find. So today our affirmation is, I attract successful people. If you say this over and over, if you say it to yourself, if you speak it to yourself 2, 3, 4 times a day along with the other affirmations that we do, you cannot help but begin to put yourself in the flow of successful people and begin to attract them into your life, which makes you a more successful person.